Thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you for hosting us in this space this evening. Before we get started here, I want to make sure that we bring up Reverend Murray to open us up with prayer to start our session here tonight. Thank you so much.
May I have all our attention, please? Thank you. Father, in the name of the Lord Jesus, we thank you for this opportunity to come and to gather ourselves that we might bring unto a table something we need to accomplish as it relates to street calming and how we can better serve the community as well as those who make the decisions. In Jesus' name, bless us that we have a wonderful meeting, we ask. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to ARCO for hosting us and to the Housing Authority of Pittsburgh for feeding us. We appreciate both of your partnership in hosting this meeting tonight. My name is Rebecca Rinaldo. I'm the Neighborhood Services Manager for Mayor Ed Gainey. And it is my pleasure to welcome the mayor tonight to share some opening remarks before we review the agenda and dive into the conversation. Mayor Gainey?
Good evening, everybody. First and foremost, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank you for the concern that you have for this community and our children. And I want you to know that our staff is going to work diligently to do all we can to ensure that we protect our children. And today, I just want my staff to go over what we're doing, where we're at. But before we begin, I want my staff to introduce themselves. I brought my whole entire staff because I believe it's important. And the reason why I believe it's important is because I believe you need to hear directly from them so you can understand what's going on. And then we can have some conversation about how we make Hazelwood and every other city and every other neighborhood in this city the safest city in America. So again, I want to thank you for coming, and I appreciate you being here. I'm going to turn it back over, and we will be here even after it's over. I will be here to answer any questions that one may have. Thank you.
So normally we do go around and everyone on the team introduces themselves, but we're limited with our mic mobility tonight. So I'm going to just have you all look at the screen here. We've got a ton of great folks from the administration and many of our departments with you tonight. Obviously, Mayor Ed Gainey, our Chief of Staff, Jake Wheatley, is on his way. Deputy Chief of Staff, Felicity Williams. Lisa Frank, our Chief Operations and Administrative Officer. Pam Collier. Pam, where are you? Our Special Assistant to the Mayor. Maria Montano, our Press Secretary, is running around here somewhere. Maria. Kim Lucas, Department of Mobility and Infrastructure Director. Mike Malik, our Municipal Traffic Engineer. Is Lee here yet? Director Schmidt, our Public Safety Director, he's on his way. I'm Rebecca. Jessica Farrell from our Neighborhood Services team greeted you all at the registration table tonight. Jessica, give the folks in the back a wave. Chrisara Johnston, also from our Neighborhood Services team, is up here with us. Stephanie Gagney, one of our executive assistants. Beth Curtis and Saskia Bolger from our Office of Community Health and Safety from our social work team. Thank you guys for joining us. And Donna McManus, our crossing guard supervisor. Thank you, Donna, for being here tonight. Who did I leave out? I'm so sorry. Sharon, I'm sorry. Sharon Watkins, our financial empowerment manager. And Karen's here, Director of City Planning, Karen Abrams. Thank you, Karen, for being here. And Lori Criswell, the mayor's scheduler and assistant, is here in front. Lori, give everyone a wave. And Jake Pollack, our deputy mayor, just walked in. Jake, thank you. And of course, our amazing City Channel team, the folks who are making sure that this meeting is accessible to folks who couldn't be here in person and are joining us from Zoom. And the meeting is also being live streamed. Thank you to all the officers and to Commander Griffin from our Zone 4 Police Department for being here tonight. If any of you are in the room, if you can give the community a wave. We also want to thank Castor Binion from the Housing Authority for welcoming us and helping us put together this great meeting and for providing the food and drinks as well. Thank you, Castor. Philip, I see you out there at the registration table. Philip is Chief Wheatley's executive assistant. And I do want to thank our wonderful interpreters who are here to provide sign language tonight so that the meeting is accessible to folks of various abilities. Thank you to the interpreters as well. If I forgot you, I apologize. Thank you all for joining us. We'll all be sticking around throughout the evening so you can come and chat with us and get our information if you want to reach out following the night. So I want to quickly review just some meeting norms and guidelines we ask our community partners to join us in adhering to in these conversations. Oh, and Council President Teresa Cale Smith, I am so sorry. So for those, and to our Democratic candidate for City Council in District 5, Barb Warwick is also here as well, and I want to acknowledge her. I think we got everyone. So we want to just review some of the values that we hold near and dear to us as we have these conversations all over the city. We see how much passion and energy is in this room, and we appreciate so dearly you all choosing to spend your time with us on a chilly fall evening to come talk to us about some of these issues that are important to us, and we know how important they are to you. We ask that while we all are encouraged to share our diverse perspectives and thoughts on some of the things we're going to be discussing tonight, that we do so from a place of mutual respect for each other. We're all here because we want to make our communities better and safer, and we share that value tonight, so let's just remember to respect each other tonight. I want to again call out Chrisera Johnston from the Neighborhood Services team. She's going to be helping us moderate the question and answer and public input session tonight following the presentation. So the way we're going to do that is at registration, most of you hopefully were asked if you plan to speak tonight at the end of the presentation. And if you didn't, don't worry, you will still have a chance to speak. But what we're going to do is Chrisera is going to call small groups of you up at a time to line up at this microphone right in front of Commander Griffin. So that way we don't have all of you standing in one long line all night. We'll call you up in groups. Everyone will have a chance to speak. We are going to ask you to please respect everyone's time by limiting your time at the mic to 1 minute. And we'll actually even have a fun little timer going on the screen here so that you know where you're at in that minute. My team, our job at these meetings is to make sure we're capturing notes about what everyone says so that we hear and document everyone's concern and can follow up with you all accordingly. So please know that we will be listening, we will be taking notes about what you say. We ask that you stick to that 1 minute so that everyone here tonight has an opportunity to speak. And if you are not able to get yourself to the microphone, we'll bring the microphone to you so that you can share your input as well. Following the names of folks who've signed in to speak, Chrisera will then at the very end say, is there anyone who didn't get to sign in and say they want to speak? We'll do a show of hands and she'll call you up at the end. Does that make sense to everyone? All right, wonderful. So all that being said, we are going to dive into the presentation, which is going to review what's happening in the short term and some of what's already happened in the Johnston Avenue corridor with regards to traffic safety, some of the things that are planned in the long term, what some of the next steps and timelines are for those long-term plans, and then we'll get to the conversation where you all get to share some of your thoughts. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up Kim Lucas, our Director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure.
this is a lot of microphones. So, good evening. My name is Kim Lucas. As you heard, I'm the director for the city's Department of Mobility and Infrastructure. We're perhaps the city's newest department, founded 5 years ago, with the mission to provide the physical mobility and infrastructure for the residents of Pittsburgh to achieve the economic and social mobility that they deserve. And to advance that mission, our number one goal is safety. While sitting here tonight waiting for this meeting to start, I got a 911 alert on my phone that a 10-year-old was hit across town. I believe this 10-year-old was walking and they were hit by someone driving a car. I don't ever want to be at a meeting like this. I don't ever want to get a text like that. Nobody in this room wants to know that there are people getting hurt on our streets, people who are just trying to get their basic needs met, just trying to get to school, just trying to have fun in their neighborhood, just trying to get to fresh fruits and vegetables. So the mission of our department is through safety projects like the ones you're going to hear about tonight, through our Safe Routes to School program, through our mobility projects, where we're right now working with another community to provide free access to transit and bike share and car share and scooter share so that they can get where they need to go. Through these programs, we're hoping to make Pittsburgh, as you heard the mayor say, the safest city. And I believe that we've got the right team in place. We've got a long way to go, but I think we're on the right path. And so with that, I would like to introduce Mike Mallock. He is the city's municipal traffic engineer, and he's going to provide an overview of some of the safety improvements that we've made recently in this community and some that we have on the calendar in the very near future.
Good evening. Safety is crucial. And so earlier this summer, my team walked Johnston Avenue and began to assess the concerns on this roadway. That first begins with speed and data collection, and then also implementing a series of short-term feedbacks, improvements, things that can be implemented quickly, get them on the ground as quickly as we can, and try and at least begin improving conditions on this roadway. And so when I'm referring to these quicker implementations, I mean painting new crosswalks, putting the slow curve arrow warnings in the pavement ahead of, there's I believe 1 or 2 steep, pretty severe horizontal curves on Johnston, so putting them in the ground to try and alert motorists to slow down.
I'm so sorry, I'm being told that folks in the back can't hear you. So we're gonna ask everyone to project extra loudly.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Let me know if I'm not. Just yell. I'm sorry. And so these are things that we can do on a relatively short timeline. Most of these are in place today. I'm also referring to the painted bump outs you see adjacent to curb ramps, intersecting roads, crosswalks. These painted bump outs have 2 goals. One is to try and narrow the width of the roadway visually, and then also prevent people from parking too close to crosswalks to try and improve visibility for those crossing the street. You will also see transverse pavement markings. They are probably 4 or 5 white strips of paint on the ground. The idea being that when you go over them, they will lightly rumble. So similar to a rumble strip you'll see on the highway, not nearly as loud. We can't put them in a location where people live. So these have been implemented today. Before the end of this year, we will be installing new and improved signage along this corridor, including pedestrian and warning signs, new speed limit signs, and just basically upgrading all signage on the corridor. One thing I must mention is that at this point, the speed limit is 25 miles an hour. We are not legally permitted to lower that speed limit based on state vehicle code. I know that has been requested. We will make sure there are plenty of 25-mile-per-hour speed limit signs installed. They'll be new and reflective. That is one thing I want to address today. These are short-term improvements. These will be done before the end of this year. In a longer term, we have 2 projects I want to draw your attention to. The first is the Johnston Avenue traffic calming project. This is going to involve installing speed humps along Johnston Avenue. I cannot give an exact number or location of these speed hump implementations at this time until we have time to do the engineering. This is a project that is at the top of my list Weather is turning, so we are not going to have any more time this year to install this project. When weather breaks in 2023, it will be implemented quickly. A second project that is going to be following up Johnston is the Propel Safe Routes to School project. This is a grant-funded program to try and improve walking conditions for students walking to schools. And so we are focusing on Mansion and Glenwood in this case. And before I go too far down the Safe Routes to School, discussing what that project will look like, I also want to acknowledge Don McManus. And see, do you wish to speak a bit about the crossing guard's role in this area?
Good evening, everyone. We currently have 2 crossing guards located in Hazelwood, one down on 2nd Avenue at Elizabeth Street and one at Glenwood and Mansion in front of Propel. Those are the 2 crossing guards we have so far in Hazelwood. Unfortunately, we have a staff shortage of crossing guards. So as we get crossing guards, we will be putting them on corners that we've already been assessed. I have assessed the Johnston Roselle Court, and that's on the list. So, is that good? Are we good? Okay, good. Thanks.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Mind switching the slide? And so when I'm talking about improvements on Glenwood and Mansion, it's going to look pretty similar to what you see on Johnston today in terms of pavement markings, new signage, upgraded visible crosswalks. Speed humps will also be installed along these 2 roadways. And then we're also going to install a school zone flashing sign assembly for Propel School. So I'm sure you've seen this elsewhere in the city. During school hours when students are traveling or leaving school, it'll flash 15 miles per hour, and that will be the legal speed limit during school hours. Stephanie? And so that's a rough overview of the 2 projects we have lined up. I want to make sure everyone's aware that the Johnston Avenue speed humps are currently funded. We have funding to do those. They will be happening early next year. The work on Glenwood and Mansion is currently in the mayor's proposed budget. And so we are expecting to have funding for these projects when 2023 comes. With respect to timelines, we are going to begin design on these projects this winter, and then we're going to come back to you early first quarter of 2023 before weather turns to present our designs to you, to your community. The Johnston Avenue project, like I mentioned before, is an early implementation. We are prioritizing that project. We are shooting for a Q2 2023 implementation, and then the second and Mansion projects will follow. With that being said, we are very, very motivated to improve safety in this neighborhood. It's the most important part of my job. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. There is just one other sort of housekeeping announcement I forgot to share in the beginning. We want to be very intentional about the time and discussion tonight being about the Glen Hazelwood community. And we're so glad to see the solidarity of some of you who have come from other communities, but we do ask that in our Q&A and public input time, we stay focused on this community where we are tonight. Thank you all. And Crisera, you ready to get us started?
Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to start by calling the first 4 people up that I have on my list. And like Rebecca said earlier, if you did not get a chance to sign up, I will leave an option after everyone who's already signed up to speak after. All right, so the first 4 people are Tanya McGill, Betty Robinson, Maddie Baltimore, and John Walker. And also, if you guys decide to change your mind and don't have anything to say, that is fine as well. You were just gonna go over there.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Tanya McGill. I live at the high rise on Roselle and Johnston. As I listened to what you were saying today, it was like, we're gonna fix this, we take time, or we're shortage. A child's life is so more important than a shortage. You need to be able to rotate these officers, walking crosswalk people. It needs to be rotated then. Don't leave us out in the cold because we're not a major city or a major avenue. Like if it was Squirrel Hill, they got speed bumps, we don't. We don't have no speed bumps. As far as a crossing guard, and I mean no disrespect to anybody in here, but please understand this. We're at the point that we're having parents become crossing guards. They're coming out there every morning. The young man's grandma, she's out here every day making sure that none of the baby's kids, friends or whatever, get hurt. That is unreal. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, 1 second. I didn't even call your name yet.
I'm Betty.
I know you are.
Betty Robinson.
You're who?
Betty Robinson.
I thought your name was James Cole.
That's another name. That's
Okay,
an
all right, listen, all right.
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
1 second.
Okay.
Thank you for the feedback on speed humps. As many may know, we're a new department. We've been around, DOMI has been around 5 years. I don't believe the city installed speed humps before DOMI was a department. We started the traffic calming program, which speed humps are the major component of our traffic calming program, in 2019. And I can assure you that we do have speed humps citywide. The problem is we have, how many? A dozen sets of speed humps citywide. You know, today we've had over 700 requests, probably closer to 1,000 because that statistic is a little old. And we're not even at this, point, we're able to get about a dozen, maybe 10 projects out a year. This year, that was our goal. So we recognize that there's a desire and we have that same desire. I would love nothing more than to be implementing these every single day. And we are getting there. But I do want to share the timing of the program and sort of the newness of it too. And this was something, and I'm sure Council President Cale Smith and others who were here in 2019 can talk to kind of the mixed feedback when speed humps were proposed as a safety solution for the city. But I think most council members today can assure you that, and of course the mayor's office and my department is building them, so we're right in front of it, that they are a great solution and that they're one we're expanding.
So just for clarity, once you call the people to speak, then we all speak, and then if they have questions or want to, rebuttal, then they could, so we can have enough time for the people in here to speak.
I'm not sure if I quite understand your question. So the people who have already signed up to speak, I'll give you guys all of your minute to speak. And if the people who have not signed up to speak yet.
No, wait.
Okay.
You're talking about, I spoke without interruption.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so after I got done speaking, and then you're giving me a rebuttal.
No, it was an answer to your question.
But we're just saying, for time's sake,
Okay.
let the people speak. And that was, Donnie people or whoever else
We
needs
can
to
do
speak.
that. Let everybody speak first, and then respond.
Okay. All right.
That's how it goes.
Yeah,
But that lets the time for the people, for the community to speak. And there's people that got to
that's what I'm
say.
saying. Let everybody speak, and we'll have traffic.
All right, yep, all right, then we got it. We're all clear? We're good? All right.
Y'all good with that?
All right, we all on the same page? All right, may I have who's next? And I just want to remind everyone that it is a minute, just so we can make sure everyone gets a chance to speak as well.
Okay, hi, my name is Betty Robinson. I'm a volunteer for the safety guards for the children, make sure they get to school and get home safely. And we need more volunteers. We need for y'all to not tell us that you can't do it. We need for y'all to just put something up there temporarily, like y'all did in Squirrel Hills. We don't want to hear you can't do it and it's settled, like the ground ain't settled. Y'all can get them rubber tires or whatever, and just to help the babies out. Put more signs up. If you gotta get a stop sign or something, I mean, do something to save the children. But my thing is too, what about the police when you call them and ask for help? And they act like they don't take a report. They think it's a joke, like your life is a joke too. Like, what y'all gonna do about that? Because this is the results of the police not taking my life serious. Like I'm a joke. Like all I do is call them for no reason. Now my face is like this, but y'all need to look out for these babies. Like y'all do in Squirrel Hills, for real. That's from my heart. And I'm done.
Thank you.
Yes, my name is John Walker, and I cross the kids during the mornings and afternoons sometimes. And I think we're doing a fine job. And all y'all need is to get the job done, because y'all can do it. And God's good. God bless y'all.
Thank you. Thank you for that. All right, I'm going to call up the next 4 people that are on my list. Mary Bartle, Howard Jackson, Barm Reckbaum. All right. I'm doing that. All right. And Howard Craig, if you still would like to speak.
People that said tonight, wheelchair, can we take the mic to them? They shouldn't have to get up.
Yes.
Can we take the mic to them? Don't have to get up.
Hold on. I'm bringing the mic to you. Good. Got me being Dark Gable, baby. Okay.
Stand behind this.
I'm next.
So first, you stay behind there. You want to deal with the mic?
Oh, I could sit down here.
Hi, my name is Mary Bridget Bartle, and I live in Hazelwood Towers Mansion. And we appreciate what we've done recently, the past week, compared to the mess we had with the sewers. But I remember when I was a little girl, Nixon started, he didn't fall forward with the clocks of 2 o'clock. He stopped, this was an energy crisis, an inflation we had. And he did not, and he stopped everybody from raising prices, and we had a good energy crisis. They were just in town, and I didn't know my daughter, who I told you works for DOE, and they would like to say, but they don't remember Nixon. So I told Rich Fitzgerald, and I called your office, can you tell Biden to do that? Because he likes you guys. He comes into town a lot.
Thank you.
No, you good.
My name is Howard H.P. Jackson, Glen Hazel family. This is my Glen Hazel family. And the reality of it, I also represent the Black political party. Now, it is very heartwarming, and I appreciate your support of our community. Now, the reflection is, that young man had died, and people know me in this community. I watched the young man get shot to death, and I had to tell him about Jesus before his eyes were opened in the back of his head. Now, something tragic always has to happen when you come to our community. And we really need your support. Now, we see the economy getting ready to come in, and we know your responsibility about the housing authority. And we need to go in and find out why you're trying to go here and unify our community. Right? Football can't be played at home in our community to unify our community. And everybody else can go here and be shot. shot and shoot up everywhere else in the community and have football. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you.
I was gonna wait to everybody. Nobody else.
Excuse me, I think you might have met Homer Craig and you said Howard.
Homer Craig, yes.
Okay.
You want to take that mic to him?
Thanks, Reverend. Thanks.
First of all, I want to thank the mayor, his staff, and the council people that are attending here. Unfortunately, it has to be a tragedy to get the attention of downtown. There's so much blood that's needed before you can get anything done. The Austin family lost a child, and that's tragic, and we grieve with them. But the same thing has happened for years and years. 2nd Avenue, the traffic light at 2nd and not Hazelwood. At Hazelwood, not the traffic light, but it was paid for in blood by John and Adele. That's how we got attention. The traffic light on 2nd Avenue by the Scotchwater Bridge was paid for in blood by Hall Burton. So I'm glad that you're here, but it's unfortunate that it took a tragedy to get your attention. And we really appreciate everything you're going to do now to rectify the situation. But how many more have to die? How much more blood has to be spilled to get your attention? Oh, my time is up, but I want to finish with this. Hazelwood is a family, and I feel for the Austin family, but I also feel for the Wood family because Rhonda is a child of Hazelwood, too. So we call ourselves a Christian nation. So I'm sure she didn't leave the house intending to do what happened. We're Christian. Remember the Lord's Prayer. Forgive us as we forgive those who trespass against us. Have that compassion in your heart for the Woods family as well as Austin. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so I would like to call the next one. I'm sorry. There we go.
Thank you. Thanks. My name's Bram Richbaum. My perspective as a South Squirrel Hill resident on the traffic hazard situation in Glen Hazel and Greater Hazelwood is just one of embarrassment. Back in 2014, literally on the corners on either side of my block, the bollards and the paint started to come, and they grew and grew, like right around the center of Squirrel Hill. Then later came the speed humps. And the city did something very interesting by starting all of that, like right in between the two biggest parks, right where a lot of people, maybe more people want to do bike commuting to work in Oakland, which is a wonderful lifestyle. But now when people go through my neighborhood, when I come through with people, they look at me like, why is the city serving you so much better than they're serving anybody else? I could say a lot more, but my time is up. So my solution to this problem is satisfy every single traffic calming request that comes in the door. It's important, and it doesn't cost that much. Do less economic development, more of this. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I think that was all from that cluster. So the next four people I have is James Cole, Sandra Cole, Kenneth Robinson, and Sade Hardman, or Sade. Sade.
Hello, everybody. My name is James Cole, and all of these kids who you see with me are the Hazelwood Cobras. We are part of the Austin family. Jamel was one of ours. He was a lot of these kids' friends. We appreciate you guys coming out here. We really do. But we're not at the markings and everything. They're not enough. We see that you put the markings and everything here, but we still, you can go on the Hazelwood Cover Live page today, and you'll still see people rapping and going through it. We walk out here right now with the cops sitting right there at the corner, they're still blowing through that stop sign. It's not enough. And you guys just told us that you can put the speed bumps in. It's not enough time. I was on the Homewood Live last night, and y'all will be installing speed bumps in Homewood within the next couple weeks. So if you can install speed bumps in Homewood in the next couple weeks, I think you guys can push forward and get these speed bumps sooner than next year. We have a 9-block radius from here down to the spray park, down to the football field, down to the school. There's a school football field, an after-school program, where we have summer camp, spray park, playground, basketball court, 3 tennis courts, a housing project with people who have at least 2 children in their households. In the strip. Then we have a baseball field, basketball court, rec center, playground, high-rise. There's more traffic going up and down here with children than in most places in Pittsburgh, period. This is an immediate concern of ours, and we need this dealt with ASAP. Again, we appreciate you guys coming, but every day that we're at football practice or we're at after-school program, we all have to worry about another one of our kids having this tragedy happen to them. We see it every day. We're jumping in front of cars because there's people who are careless. We need measures put in place to keep our kids safe. We have over 200 kids in our program with after-school program, football, cheerleading, basketball, flag football. We need our kids safe. Our kids came out here. These are all football players. They have games. They have playoffs this week. But we came up here to make sure that y'all understand that this is an immediate concern of ours that needs to happen now. Y'all just had in y'all meeting yesterday for Homewood that y'all will be putting speed bumps in before the winter hits. Is this right or wrong?
We're going to speak to everything we've done.
Okay, well, if that is the case, if I heard what I heard correctly last night on the live, I believe that if that can happen in Homewood, this can happen in Hazelwood. Our kids are just as important as people in Homewood, Springfield, or anywhere else that live in the
We're going to ask that mic come back up.
Real quick.
1 second.
All y'all right here, how many of y'all have either seen or almost got hit by a car around the football field? Raise your hands.
All right, I think they got the point.
There you go. Our kids need protected. Our kids need protected.
Okay, give that mic to us.
My name is Kenny Ray Robinson. I live here in Glen Hazel. I've been living here most of my life. I've seen Glen Hazel transitions starting when I was 18 months old, and next week, I'll be 70. So I've seen it all. I've seen it all. And one thing I appreciate is the residents of this community. They have been protective, they have been honorable, and they've been nice, and I, being an old schooler, appreciate that. Your Honor, thank you for coming out today. Thank you for making safety a priority in your administration. We appreciate that. Now it's time for us to get to work. I want to piggyback off of James. He made some very, very good points. I couldn't hear everybody else back there, but I tell you what, there are some additional things we can do to protect these children. okay? If we can have a time frame in which we can do a walkthrough through the community, I will be glad to go through with you and point out some things we can do. Yes, signs, yes, speed bumps, but lighting is important as well, okay? Now they're just now starting to bring more lighting in, and we want to make that a priority now. Can we do that? Thank you.
Ms. Allen?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, you gotta pull it down for me. Okay. Hi, my name is Ruth Allen, and I want to say this. I come through here all the time, and what makes me so angry, I've called downtown and asked them, could they go down on the speed? And I also asked them, could they put some signs up? I go up by Lincoln Place and I see these signs saying, we love our children. We love ours too. And the speed limit is 15. Now, I would like to have the speed bumps because I go through Squirrel Hill all the time and I said, oh my goodness, I wish we had this. But let me say one thing. Even after the accident, there's people that come down there like 40 miles an hour. Okay, listen to this. When I get by the stop sign right there, I start going slow. This was 2 days after the young fella had his accident. This girl went right around me because I was going too slow. And I was going slow because I was trying to make them go slow. So I would appreciate it if you would put speed bumps in. And I also would appreciate if you put a little sign to say we love our children too. And I also would like to have a sign that says 15 miles an hour, something like that. Those are the things that I would like for the people that lives here. And I know all of us, we love our children just like everybody else loves theirs. Thank you.
Thank you. Just so we have enough time for our staff to respond to everyone, I do want to remind everyone that we are trying to limit public comment to 1 minute. But and I still will ask anyone who did not get a chance to sign up if they would like to speak. So thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you. You want to speak? She can go before me.
You want to talk there?
Yeah.
That's my dream.
You got it? Yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Janice.
My name is Janet Evans. Everybody does not know me. I'm one of the leaders in the area and also in the housing authorities. And one thing I noticed, all the sidewalks from the high rise to up here are blocked. Even the road isn't paved well enough. But the sidewalks need to be accessible for people like myself who use motorized chairs. Half the time, I have to run the street. I'm not afraid of it, but I also have lights on my chair. That's right. But I do have a real concern of the cars going through the stop signs. There needs to be a lot more stop signs and the speed near the high rise needs to be lowered. I've been here for 46 years and everybody knows me in Glen Hazel. Glen Hazel is really the last area that people think about, but it yet is a fast thoroughfare going from Hazelwood out to the waterfront. So really, if we can get the sidewalks taken care of by the yesterday. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I just wanted to say that I have also been on the crossing guard watch with these children, and like Ms. Ruth said, these cars do they really speed. It don't matter if you jump out in front, I'm blowing my whistle, I'm like, stop, slow down, and they just don't care. Bus drivers is giving middle fingers. Cops is running through there pretty quickly as well. It's like no one cares. It's like we are definitely the laughing stock, and there was a tragedy that happened, and this is very important to us. These speed bumps, these signs, like Ms. Ruth said, we love our children as well, and it just needs to happen. So that's what I really wanted to say.
Thank you.
So the only thing that I would say is I appreciate all of y'all coming out, because it is important for the whole community to see y'all as a whole and how we can work together out here in this community. But I'm gonna say this, as far as the youth, these youth need somewhere to be this winter because it's getting ready to be cold out. So Castor, we need this building. We need it. Okay, it should be a priority because it's time. It's time for real change out here, and I feel like we are the people that's going to bring that real change for the people out here. We talk a lot about the brick and mortar and things, but we got to save lives. We're part of the problem why these children are out here, gun violence and all of that. It's on us too. So we have to do what we have to do out here as far as to save our children. And I think this building is a major factor. It's like a safe haven. That's how we used it when we were in here before. So I would ask if it's possible, let us get in here, y'all. Thank you. Okay.
So now I would like to open this up to the people who did not get a chance. Yes. Your name, sir? Reverend. Yeah. Oh, come on up. You come on up. I appreciate you.
Brad, he was on the list. Thank you, Mayor.
First of all, I want to re-echo the thank yous for the staff and the mayor, y'all coming out in the whole 9 yards. I want to go another direction, and the direction I want to go is these wheelchair folk that rode out of here, and we're stocking speed bumps in the whole 9 yards, which we do need. How about these seniors? How about these handicapped folk that just rode out of here, and when the speed bumps come, they got to navigate themselves over the speed bumps as well. We understand children come first, but if we're going to do inclusiveness, we need to add everybody to the safety list that we can keep safe in the community. So I want to put a shout out for them as well. And we have a lot of children. I did one little mathematical thing. I looked up the facts. We have 5% larger capacity of children in our community than the city has in average. So that's a lot of attention, so we need your help.
I want to open this up to anybody else who did sign up, and I may not have you on my list, but if you did sign up to speak, please feel free to join the line. But please, whoever is next, you may proceed.
Okay, I live across the street, and
Your name?
My name is Linwood Coles, and I'm a vet, and I live across the street, and I watch the traffic come through here. I'm talking about like a racetrack. I've seen, in fact, the lady live across on this corner right here, somebody ran into her porch, knocked her porch down, and knocked the ladies next door to hers down. I've seen my neighbor's car get knocked up on the sidewalk into the grass. I mean, the cars be coming so fast that they're coming like 60, 70 miles an hour, coming up the hill. And they're coming, and I'm sitting in my garage and I'm looking at the cars coming. Sometimes they drag race. They come up here 2 at a time, flying by the house, go up here and turn around in the middle of the street and come back down. Now, this has happened recently, so it's not like I'm talking about something that happened last year. This summer, it was the little dirt bikes. This was going all up and down the street, flying. They doing wheelies and whatever they want to do. This is going on, and people don't respect the stop sign right here. They just go right through it. It's not there. Coming and going. You know, I see it every day. So that's what I had to say about it, and I'm hoping that some can be done. The speed bumps need to be here because from right in this part right here all the way down, there should be some speed bumps because them people don't even care. It's a deer crossing right down there, and the deer be running across the road, and I be saying somebody gonna run into a deer, and they gonna say because they come a lot. The deers run across there a lot, but people just have been lucky that they was just flying down the road and miss them. But one day they gonna get somebody gonna get it.
Thank you, sir.
You know, okay.
I want to thank the Hazelwood community for supporting my family and my daughter and my grandson during this terrible time. Far as the volunteering of the crossing guards, there's a stipulation in the application that states that all crossing guards must have a C-class driver's license. Well, my volunteers don't have any driver's license. Well, that shouldn't be a stipulation for them to be employed as a crossing guard when they're already doing the work. As long as you can show up at your station, it shouldn't matter how do you get to work. That's practically, it's just basically none of your business. But that's why you can't hire guards, because you're isolating a whole population of people, especially low-income people who really do want those jobs or could do those jobs, but you're isolating them because you put a stipulation. I never had an application on any job that I ever had that said I needed a driver's license if I'm not driving anybody. So that's why we can't protect the kids. It's about protecting the kids. That stipulation needs to be lifted so you can keep the kids safe. If that's the only thing that's stopping us from getting hired as a crossing guard, it should be lifted because we're out there doing the work anyway.
Hi, yeah, my name is Barb Warwick, and I just wanted to quickly address directly Director Lucas and the DOMI team. There is nowhere in this city where the inequities are more clear than in the state of our streets. There are 20 speed humps in 15217, and there are 0 speed humps in 15207. I invite you to walk down to the CVS down Johnston Avenue after dark and see if you feel safe. I invite you to do it yourself.
No.
I regularly see wheelchairs riding in the street in the dark. So this really, I understand this is hard to hear. I understand that you are working hard, but this is not the time to get defensive. This is the time to listen. Because the squeaky wheel approach to traffic calming is not working. It is only resulting in that the communities with the most resources and the most time and the most political clout are able to be the loudest and get the traffic calming that they need. But we all need it. We all do. Squirrel Hill needs it, and so does Hazelwood, and so does every other community. So traffic calming needs to be the default in this city. Slowing the cars down and making the sidewalks safe and accessible for our kids and our transit riders to get to school and get to the bus, that needs to be the default. No more studies, months-long studies, to see if we really need the traffic calming that we're calling you and telling you that we need. We need it. The cars are flying down our streets. Our kids can't play in front of our houses. We are telling you that So, and as you said, you did it quickly. Basic stuff, lines, ballards, painting. I mean, these are very basic, low-cost measures that you can start taking. And I understand it's hard. You've got lots of streets to handle. But make a list. Publish the list. Start with around the schools and the places where the kids are going, right? That's fine. You have to prioritize. But make it public, make it clear so that anybody can look up and say, oh, there's my street on the list, and it's coming at this time or that time. That would be my recommendation. Anyway, thank you for having this meeting. I know it's hard. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all for me. Thanks.
My name is Jay Carter. I originally grew up in Hazelwood, so this is my hometown. I live in actually Squirrel Hill 15217. And we have more speed bumps there, and we have 0 in Hazelwood.
That's right.
Right? Make that make sense. The fact that we were even talking about waiting, right? So we're going to use this time between now and the end of winter to do some more designs, and we call this phases. We lost one child already. You all have been sitting here with this data. We have veterans, we have fathers, we have mothers, we have brothers and sisters. We have tons of people in this community who have been asking you all to act. No more planning, act now. Winter is coming. We have schools, churches, and we list everything in our community that we do here on a regular basis. We have folks who cannot utilize the sidewalks, who are forced into the streets. I went to Indiana University of Pennsylvania, graduated with a dual baccalaureate, one in geography and one in regional planning. And in that regional planning, we talked about civic engagement 101. And it starts with actively listening to the residents and what their needs are. Barb laid it out. She identified the list of things or ideas that we can start acting on behalf of the community. Mayor, I would like to join you in walking throughout this community. Whatever it takes, the community, I'm sure, would love to walk with you to identify specifically where the needs are. Let's do something.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eduardo Solomon. I live right next to the Propel School, so not quite Glen Hazel. But I walked here, it was 20 minutes, and I encourage every person who is paid to be here and who is going to be paid to work on the plan and multiple months of working on that plan to take a walk over to the school and count how many kids are there and count how many cars fly by and count how many times the bush on the sidewalk pushes you into the road and how many times you have to jump onto the curb because there's no way to get onto the street or to the next sidewalk. You'll be able to figure out very quickly what needs to happen if you can take a look for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else? We just want to make sure that we are Hazelwood and Glen Hazel focused tonight. I do want to remind everyone. It's our focus.
In a way it is. And Mr. Mayor, I was at your meeting yesterday at Homewood, and congratulations, that's great work that you're doing out in Homewood. Well-publicized meeting.
Get to the microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought my voice carried a little better than that. I was a little bit surprised by tonight when I turned on the Channel 11 News to find out that you're having a meeting that the Democrat candidate for the council district that is now vacant is here at. My Republican candidate was never notified of that. We don't know that. I would like to keep up, Mr. Mayor, I'm not asking for, hold on a second, Mr. Mayor. Just let me finish and I'll be respectful. I represent a portion of the city of Pittsburgh like you, and they expect certain things from me. I'm not keeping tabs on you. I would just like to know when public events are happening that it's put up on the website. So especially in a place where there's a political race going on, so that we don't have party before Pittsburgh. Mr. Boker is a very fine candidate.
So let me stop this. Let me stop this. This is about Hazelwood. This is not about politics. This is not about politics. And let me say this, that I know that my office, as well as the Hazelwood group, have been advertising this for at least 2.5 weeks. And respectfully, because we can have this conversation offline, where you and I can talk and we can have better dialogue. I can put you in some people that when we're having public meetings, you'll know exactly who to contact, or if we get you on our email list, we'll be able to send it out. But I don't want to mix this right here with politics. That's not what we're here for. Understand it. So what I'm asking is that I will stay after and you and I can talk.
Okay.
But please let the people of Hazelwood talk to us about what's going on in Hazelwood. Thank you.
Okay, this is about Hazelwood.
Thank you. Do we have another comment about Hazelwood?
Yes.
All right.
Good evening. My name is Meryl Johnson. I am the principal at Propel Hazelwood. I didn't prepare to speak, but I just want to reiterate the importance of the urgency of our response here. I have been at the school for 3 years now, and for 3 years we have heard that this is coming, that this is coming, that this is coming. A lot of those Cobras go to my school. Jamel was one of our students and is a very present member of our community still. And every morning when we drive through, the urgency of this project screams. So on behalf of Propel Hazelwood, which I do not have permission to speak on behalf of, I would like to encourage you, to plead with you, to implore you to prioritize this work. Thank you.
And so we're going to ask Lisa to come up and speak, and then that will be our last, that will be our, Lisa.
You want to say something?
You want to say something? You got to come up and say something.
Yeah.
I was asked to come up here because I am a very irate parent. My son, Saturday, June 18th, got hit by a car, and Zone 4 Police Department blamed him for the accident. That driver was speeding from Johnston all the way down Mansion to beat the traffic light at the 2nd Avenue and Mansion crossway. I know I only have a minute, but my son may have survived, but I still feel bad for that little boy that got hit not even 3 weeks after my son got hit. When does it stop? When does it get woke up? My son has trauma and will probably have it for a very long time. But what's worse is Zone 4 Police Department blamed my son for the accident.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tamika Jones Cuff. I'm a member of the community of Glen Hazel. My husband, Harry Cuff, volunteers as a crossing guard on most days. And I just want to say that we are a strong community here. We're not a weak community. We have fought time and time again for the things that we need here. We have patriots of Glen Hazel and the Hazelwood community here. Their voices are loud. They're sounding out. They're asking you directly for help. They have gone to you directly, and each of you are responsible for that answer. So all I have to say is there's an urgency in the air. There's an urgency, and it's loud and clear, and you hear it. Yes, baby. I have nothing more to say. Thank you.
Thank you. And that will be our last public comment. We will invite Chief Lisa Frank so she can answer some of your questions tonight.
Thanks, everybody. Is this do I have the right mic? So I've been taking some notes, and I thought maybe I'd started. I can't. Is Barb? Are you still here? Which one is it? This one? I thought maybe I would actually start with what Barb said, where she. Oh, there you are. Where she was talking about the way that we make our lists and the way that we think about our lists. But you're right. And one of the first things that we did and that we're doing, and that Director Lucas does as the new director of DOMI, is exactly to rank in the way that you're talking about. Let's look at where there's kids. Let's look at where there's not enough traffic calming. Let's look at the data, and let's not be driven by who calls us. And so I hear you saying people should not be defensive. Not to be defensive. You are absolutely right, and it is how we are working. Didn't think about publishing lists. We can try to do that, but I just want to acknowledge that is the right way to do it, and it is in fact the way that we're doing it. The urgency that people feel, it is. We feel that so strongly. To the woman who just said people need to be responsible as individual people, everyone here feels that every single day. And it is hard to share information about what is in fact kind of top speed for government. Typically, the kind of study that Mike talked about, where he comes and looks at the traffic to try to figure out where exactly should the signs go, or where should the paint go, or where should the speed bumps go, that typically takes 8 months. We got that done in 2. 2 is not fast enough. I know 2 is fast enough, but I want people to understand that we are hitting the gas to the point about speed bumps in Kelly Street. So I perfectly understand why it looks like, Kelly Street kind of jumped the line. In fact, silly or as it seems, you do actually have to do some designing and engineering around a speed bump. You gotta get it right, and it takes a little bit of time. Kelly Street's designs were done. We didn't think we should not do them on Kelly Street, which is a similar, Homewood is a neighborhood that is also in our prioritizations and ranks, and that we should do that. But when Mike says, you are first on the list, what that means is that design is going to happen over the winter, and it is the first construction that's going to happen. And there's a long list of people, but our analysis shows us that one has to be first. And but we do have to do that work. Now again, top speed, would I like to be going faster? I would like to be going faster, but I do want people to hear that it is because you spoke out. It is because we should not be acting only after there's a tragedy. We should be going much faster for all kinds of children across the city. That is our top speed, and I just want to say that to people. And I understand why people feel that that's not fast enough. It is completely urgent. On whoever it was that pointed out that we have public bus drivers and public servants like police officers speeding and flipping people off, that has to stop, and we can make that stop. We can actually see from our data when people are I don't know about the bus drivers, but within our own cars we can see that, and we will look at that, and we're not going to tolerate that. Crossing guards, we have 5 vacancies right now, and I heard the person who said, can we look at removing an unnecessary qualification? Absolutely. I was not aware of that. We have, as an administration, moved a lot of unnecessary qualifications in a lot of job categories. Things that we have asked lifeguards to do that don't make any sense, we removed, we got more lifeguards. Things that don't make any sense for people who work in with garbage trucks, didn't make any sense, we removed those things. So as we're hearing those things and we can remove them, we will, and we absolutely look at that. That's the first I've heard that tonight. All 5 of them spots, okay. And then I do want to also just underline something that Mike pointed to, which was the Safe Routes to School program, where there's a little bit of a grant. We need people in addition to our crossing guards to keep kids safe. And somebody mentioned that parents and older children and do those and pitch in those ways. I think it's great that they pitch in those ways. And one of the things that the Safe Routes to School program does is to offer any adult or any older child who would like some training to be a person who maybe helps kids down the sidewalk to get to the crosswalks or to do those kinds of things, to really kind of pitch in as a community and do that, feel good about that, work on that as a community, and have a kind of official status as a ambassador, or a helper of our kids going to school. So, and the Hazelwood is one of the communities that is in that grant program, and where we would really like to do that work. So, encourage people. We can connect with whomever it makes sense to connect with to, really help the community embrace that safety, even as we are also looking for crossing guards. So those are the things that I jotted down to respond to. Did anybody else hear anything else that feels like we should? Sure.
Is it possible for y'all to get like the speed? You know how the police have them speed things when they going real fast? Is it possible for y'all to get one of those up there and take the cameras and pictures when they speeding? Is that possible?
I'm not sure.
Green light, where the stop sign is?
I'm not sure I know what you mean. Like
on Johnston? Yeah, speed camera. Like when you're going too fast, it's the whatever y'all call it. Yeah, to monitor how fast they're going, so y'all can see how fast they're going. Y'all know what I'm saying? In the red, in the light, red, yellow, and green light, where the stop sign is, because obviously the stop sign don't mean nothing. I'm just asking.
Okay. So I
have one more question.
Go ahead.
Is it possible for y'all to get some help for the babies, like some therapy or stuff for them babies to watch that?
Already, Betty.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And then on the lights, I think one of the lights that were a flasher to help, the stop sign, maybe you don't see it or something, but something that flashes more. Mike is looking at an appropriate spot for, I've forgotten what you called it, for a school zone, right? A school zone, flashing light. And then before you go, I've got your clipboard. Any others? Okay. Yeah. To the people's question, yeah, I'll just repeat what Mike already shared. We are not able, under state law, to reduce the speed on this street to 15 miles an hour. It's 25 miles an hour. Happy to work with people if we want to talk about, lobbying in Harrisburg to sort of deal with that. That's not something that we're able to do, but we can post the current speed limit, and those signs will go up shortly.
So even at a certain time of the day, like during the school times, you can't give us a 15 mile per hour sign that blinks?
So that
we need it up here.
You talking about on Johnston?
On Johnston.
It has to be in a school zone. It has to be in a school zone. All that has to be in a school zone. That's at the state level. That's what they were saying.
But even thinking right now, going through Squirrel Hill, they have them, and it's not at a school zone like
maybe
it
I missed
is.
the question. You're saying that the lights, say it again.
So you know how they say 7 and 9, 15 miles per hour. 7 and 9, and then say 3 to 5 school times, just school times.
I gotta use the mic because folks can't hear me.
Okay. Just during school times, that's all, Ed.
So that's a good question. I don't know do we know the answer to that before I make my comment? Yeah, let us look into good question. So
And can we get some fluorescent signs? Can we at least get those with the people who's walking across the street on the fluorescent signs? Can we get those?
Pedestrian walk sign.
One more.
Let me check it out.
Okay.
Let me check it
One
out.
more thing. What is it? The project with the school. We're them 15-mile-an-hour blinking lights. That would be where, like, by the football field and stuff. Or
right
by the school.
It's right there.
Yeah, but there's a.
So we are required to put those adjacent to the school property? Yeah, so we'll put it generally about 200 feet before school property, and then the other side, so you get both directions of traffic. You have the flashing school limit, speed limit 15 miles per hour. We work with that school to figure out what times of day your students are arriving, your students are departing. We program it to flash during those times.
So there will be one on each, one on each street on Glenwood and one on Mansion.
If it's a two-way,
It's a two-way.
A two-way street. We always get every direction.
Yes, and there's an intersection right there. And when you come down Mansion and you get to the school, you can go left or you can go straight down. And you can make a right. That's a one-way. Nobody can come back from the right side because that's a one-way, but the other streets are two-way streets.
Let us take a look at it.
Okay.
I'm trying to get back confused on the geography. Let us take a look. We will take a look.
Okay. Okay.
Recognition and identification is one thing, but we have to think outside the box, Mayor. We understand what we need here. We understand what we must do, and we understand what we are asking you to do. But these people who ride through this community, they don't know anything. And they need to be identified.
Right.
They need to recognize. First of all, if you come into Glen Hazel, it should say, welcome to Glen Hazel. Slow down. You don't have to go through any red tape for that, man. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to do that. Because
slow down.
Now, they know what to do.
Right.
Okay? That's what I want to say.
Welcome to Glen Hazel. Slow down. So first, let me say this. I want to start off. I want to start off by saying thank you. I appreciate it, and here's why. For those that know me, know I don't want to lose one kid. I don't want to lose none. I know what it feels like to watch parents go through something when they lose a child. I get it live and direct. And I don't want to lose one child. There's a lot of things that we have to change at the city. There's no question about it. But we're not going to change them overnight. There's no microwave meals to growth. Things are going to take time because they've been like this forever and a day. There are things coming into office we have changed already as we go so that we know exactly how we can change and how we can get better. The city is big. And when we see changes that need to be made, it's been widely documented, we haven't hesitated. We've made those changes so that we can have a safe, welcoming, and thriving city. But the reality is, I can't stand here in front of you. I can't stand here in front of you and say tomorrow it's all going to be solved. I can't. If I did that, then I would just be catering to you to say, hey, listen, we're going to do this immediately. And I can't do that. I come to serve you. And in serving you, I'm going to tell you the truth. And sometimes we're going to agree, and sometimes we're not. But what you always going to get from me is the truth.
That's all we want.
And I'm going to do everything possible to make Hazelwood safe. It's not that I put any community in front of any other community. You know when I first came on, what's the first community I had my meeting in? Was Hazelwood. Y'all said Irvine was an issue. We started working on it. We trying to come in and make change as we go. And here's why someone said, why does it take tragedy to create change? Whoever said that, please raise your hand.
All of us.
But you know what? Let me talk about Sumer. Even in Sumer, when we thought about how we can reconfigure pools, because we only got a certain amount of money, we relied on data that was not up to date. We changed it. There's a lot that we've already changed, but sometimes an issue has to arise for us to be able to see, for us to be able to change it.
Right.
And I don't never want that to be the life of a child. I would never want to see a child die. We've seen too much of that.
Amen.
So here, the reason why I brought my whole team to listen is because it's not a playing game with me. See, I came in January. I don't have a playing game. And I could easily come in here and cater to everybody.
We ain't gonna let you.
When you close, you can try. But we're going to help as much as we can. Because for real,
that's all we need.
Most administrations, when they came back,
Let's try.
we came back. We didn't run from them.
That's right.
We came back.
That's right.
So from the door, we showed that we did. But we also need you. Like, grandmama told me something I didn't know about the C license and all that. I got to figure that out.
Right.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I got to figure it out. Sister, you know, I came to you as soon as I found out. Just to give you a hug. And see whatever we can do to help you. I can't imagine how you feel.
No. None of
so
us.
all I can do is pray for you.
None of us.
I can't imagine.
That's right.
But we as a community got to look out for each other. What the grandma done is great. And the rest of them that came over and crossed these kids, sometimes it's not them going downtown. It's what you can do right now. It's not always for those that come from these communities, and we do, we know downtown can be a long way.
That's right.
That don't mean you gotta wait.
That's right.
You deal with these kids every day.
Every day.
Right. You know what it is, correct?
Yeah.
Everybody out here that's a coach, I give y'all respect if you know it. But as a community, we gotta come together. These are our kids.
That's real.
We gotta take policy downtown. It's gonna take some time.
Yeah.
Downtown.
That's right.
I got a 3 months break. We're gonna put in a complaint to get a street finished. Ain't that right? So we understand that. We ain't running from it. We understand it quite well. But what I'm saying to y'all is help us. If there's something going wrong, don't text me. Call me.
You know what? You
Don't text me.
stop it. I called you. No, I called you. Because I ain't texting. I'm coming here. I never got it. I almost showed up.
Because we come from that same bread.
That's right, baby.
But listen to what I'm saying. On the real level, let's just be our joke. On the real level, I love y'all.
Yeah.
And I love every kid down
I know that's right.
there. And since we came in, we made change.
That's right.
We continue.
Takes
You
time.
don't always expect downtown to be quick.
Right.
So while we're running, community come together and make it out.
That's right.
Thank you all again for being here tonight. We really do appreciate that you all have used your unpaid time as advocates for your neighborhood to be here with us. We'll be hanging around. We can get contact info for those of you who want to stay in touch. Don't be shy. Thank you.